Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
It's a great day, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. And yeah, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me. Can't refuse it. Didn't seek it. Didn't choose it. But it's up to me to use it. And I will suffer if I lose it. Give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute. But our eternity is in it. I got a question for you folks. What would you think would be possible if you could learn systems to make you grow from broke, busted, disgusted, and unable to really create wealth to doing it in a systematic way over and over and over again? Well, my guest today is the number one guru for helping create wealth and helping you set goals that change your life. My dear friend, one of my great mentors and supporters over my career, the one and only, the greatest goal-setting expert on the planet, Brian Tracy. He's going to be with you in a few minutes, and you're going to be changed. Well, folks, I want to thank all of you for coming today and listening to this show. I want you to tell everybody to tune in right now, because this is going to be one that will change your life. I also take a moment, as you know, to give God glory at the beginning of every show and thank him for life and strength and health. I thank him for friends and family. I thank him for the gifts that I have been given. And I am grateful for the show being the number one self-help show in the country. I'm grateful for the podcast in the top 5% downloads globally. I'm grateful for the speaking and the books, but most of all, I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for life and strength and family and friends. So be grateful. You know, I say it to you every week, folks. God's gift to you is life. Your gift to God is what you do with your life. So do something extraordinary and be grateful. And then I'm grateful for our sponsor. I'm so grateful for our sponsor, who have been a great sponsor, great partner, Truist Bank. There were 2 banks, BB&T and SunTrust. They decided to come together and create a greater bank, and it's called Truist. And they are built on one principle: care. They say when you start with care, you build a different kind of bank, and that's exactly what they have done. I want you to go to truist.com and check out how they are helping communities, helping people, helping families, helping grow your finances and your future. Truist.com. Well, as I said, my guest today is considered the number one wealth creator, number one expert on goal setting in the world. He's one of the top speakers. He's a CPAE. That is the Hall of Fame. I'm honored to be in the Speaker Hall of Fame. He has been one of the greatest contributors to wealth creation globally. And he is, my dear friend, if you don't know him, you are missing it. You've been in a closet. The one and only Brian Tracy is my guest. Brian Tracy, I'm not going to go into a long bio right now, because I want to get you talking, because nobody knows how to create wealth like you. Welcome to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show, my friend.
Thank you, Willie. It's a pleasure to be with you. You know, you're one of the finest speakers in America, one of the greatest enthusiasts, and I love that. You're just enthusiastic about every part of life, and it's what do they say? It's contagious. People people listen to, including me, become enthusiastic. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. I'll give a quick story that before we get started. When I was a new speaker, folks, brand new, I went to hear Brian Tracy at a big event seminar he was doing in Maryland, right outside of DC. And I was sitting on the front row with my pad and my pencil ready to take notes. And Brian saw me from the stage. He saw me sitting there. He said, that's that new young, well, that new whippersnapper, Willie Jolley. And he said, Willie Jolley, I want you folks to hear one of the new, young, great coming up speakers. He invited me on the stage and he said, do 5 minutes. And I did 5 minutes. And people afterwards came up and said, wow, you're going to be one of the greats. And one of my friends, Greg Gregory, I'll give him a shout out. He heard me that day, became my friend. We're friends to this day. He comes to my home every year for Thanksgiving dinner. And he said it was because of Brian Tracy's graciousness to give you the opportunity to be heard for 5 minutes that was a great launching spot for your career. So thank you, Brian, for then, and thank you for your support over the years and your encouragement. Well, Brian Tracy, let's get into, you got two new books. Well, one is an old book that's rewritten, and then one is a new book, and they are fantastic. Now, folks, for those who are watching on our Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways video version, I've got the book Goals in my hand, how to get everything you want faster than you ever thought possible. And he has rewritten, re-edited new stuff in the goals book, which is the best goals book I believe has ever been written. But he also has another new book called The 32 Unbreakable Laws of Money and Success. Transform your life and unlock your unlimited potential. And this book, I believe, is like an MBA. It's like an MBA for anybody in business, anybody who wants to make money, anyone who wants to grow their success. I'm also holding in my hand one more thing for those who have ever known. I got a CD of The Psychology of Achievement, develop the top achievers mindset, and that's another one. I got Eat the Frog. We got a whole library of Brian Tracy. Brian, before we get started about the books, tell them a little bit about you. Where'd you come from, and how did you become this great expert? Because you did not grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth. You did not grow up in a prosperous household. You did not go to the finest universities or MBAs. Where did you come from, and how did you become Brian Tracy?
Well, I didn't graduate from high school. I fooled around the whole time. My first job was washing dishes in the back of a small hotel. And
Wow.
I sometimes joke, I say that when I lost that job, which is a euphemism for non-voluntary career redeployment, you get a, you get a chance to explore new careers unexpectedly.
When you got fired for that one, that's right. Go ahead.
That's the word. And today they give you a week or 2 weeks. In those days, they gave you about to the end of the hour. They said,
Right.
you won't need your services anymore. Here's your paycheck. Get out of here. So I go from place to place. My next job was washing cars in a car lot. And then when I lost that job, I got a job washing floors with a janitorial service. And so I began to think that washing was in my future. I was 18 years old. I was driving an old car, sleeping in the car much of the time. I worked on farms and factories. I worked in sawmills. I worked on ships in the North Atlantic. I did basically gut work, and it opened my eyes. I finally had this revelation. I was working in construction, and the president of the company, who was the big boss, came by and he said, "What's your name?" I told him, and he said, and he asked me a couple of questions, and then he walked away. And then he turned around and he came back. He said, "Brian," he said, "you have far too much talent to be working as a construction laborer." He said, "Do anything that you can to upgrade your education so that you can achieve more." And then he
Mm,
walked away. And I was,
wow.
wow, because he was the big boss. It was like an honor. So this was at a construction site in a huge building. And down below in the mall, there was a bookstore. So I went down to the bookstore and I began buying and reading books. The first book I bought was the book on abnormal psychology, which is a ridiculous book to start with. But I started with abnormal psychology and then psychology and then the success books and time management books. And I became a lifelong reader. I've now read about 6,000 books. My house
Wow.
full of books everywhere. And so here we are. Anyway, and I began to learn and to jump ahead. My goal when I was 15 years old, from everything I'd read, was to become a millionaire. And I found that everybody had the same goal. Everybody
Right.
wants to become a millionaire, and then they go back to work at their Joe jobs, whatever it was. They put in as many hours as is essential to not be fired, and then they go out and socialize and so on. And I realized a few years later that I wanted to be a millionaire for years, and I was no closer. I was still,
Mm,
the old joke about my paycheck was lasted less than the month. So
right.
by the time by the time the
There was
month
more month than money.
a month and money. And one day I said, how could a person become a millionaire? And I said, well, they have to be more productive. You have to produce more value. And
Mm,
if you do, sometimes in my audiences, 1,000, 2,000 people, I'll say, how many people here work on straight commission? And about 15% will raise their hands. I said, obviously, I didn't express that clearly. Let me rephrase it. How many people here work on straight commission, which means that you only get paid if you produce results?
mm,
Every hand goes up. And
yes.
so we're all straight commission people. And
Yes.
so the key to increasing your income is to get more and better results.
That's right.
Peter Drucker, I love, he said that results are the number one, it's the number one word in business and in life, is that your income, I call this your earning ability, is determined by the results that you can get that people will pay you for. So
Right.
well, how do you do that? Well, you have to be more productive. You have to start a little earlier, you have to work a little harder, you have to stay a little later, and you have to upgrade your skills when you're not working. And so that became my philosophy. Then one day I was walking along and I said, how could I double my income? And if you could double it, Albert Einstein, Willie, said that the compounding is the eighth wonder of the world.
Right.
And he meant this in chemistry and in physics and so on. But compounding means that when you start to compound any amount, it starts to grow rapidly. But you have to have something to start with. Anyway, so I thought, well, how can I increase my income 10 times? And by this time I'd read enough and I came up with this formula, is that if you could increase your productivity by 0.5% per week, 2% per month, that would be 25%. I'm sorry, to be 25% per year. So
Right.
okay, so how do you increase your productivity, performance, and output by 2% per month, 25% per year? And then if you do it the second year, it compounds. And the third year, it compounds. In 2 years and 7 months, you'll double your income because you'll be producing twice as much or even more. And if you keep doing that, by 10 years, you'll have increased your income 1,004%. So I just was thinking this and just playing with it. And I thought, well, I could increase my income 2% a month. I mean, my productivity, I could
Yes.
listen, start a little earlier, work a little harder, stay a little later, upgrade my skills. There's so many ways you can get 2% in a month. Most people
Yes.
can be 20, 50% more productive in a day if they just start work and just work all the time they work. So I wrote this out and I said, now what 7 steps could you take? I always like sevens because
Right.
it's a cosmic number. So I said, what 7 steps could you take to increase your productivity, performance, and outcome? And so number 1 is get up early.
Hold that thought. We're going to give them what we call a cliffhanger. We're going to make them stay to the second segment. We're going to go into a break. Y'all going to have to pull out your pen and pencil so you can get the 7 steps Brian Tracy is about to share with you that will help you become more productive and help you make more money. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Stay tuned because the best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Pick up the phone and just call on me. Won't Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent. You can call on me when you need me. Call me. You can call on me. Call me. You can call on me. Pick up the phone. You can call and call me.
Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and support for the Dr. Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show comes from Truist Bank. When you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. Home ownership is a blessing. That's right, it's a blessing. And the ability to build equity, value in a home that you own can be the foundation of creating wealth. Wealth that can be passed on for generations. Truist believes that a path to home ownership exists for you. I hear people say, well, I don't see how I could ever own a home. Well, Truist can help you buy a home with a low down payment. Connect with a Truist teammate to learn about the options available to you. Reach them by calling 855-257-4040, 855-257-4040. They really care. You can also visit truist.com/homebuyer, truist.com/homebuyer to calculate your mortgage payment. That's truist.com/homebuyer. Truist Bank is an equal housing lender. Remember, visit truist.com/homebuyer or call 855-257-4040. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast around the globe, around the world. We are sharing with you how to create wealth, how to create health, how to create wisdom, how to grow your future, your finances, your family, your faith. So I encourage you to make this part of your weekly routine. Every week, listen to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show. And if you can't listen on air, on the radio, then listen to the podcast. Absolutely free, 24/7 on all podcast platforms. And then go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com, my website that'll help you with resources, some free, some you can invest in, but resources to help you win in every sector, every facet, family, in your faith, in your finances, in your business, in your marriage, every one we want to help you with. So winwithwillie.com. My special guest is the incredible, the one and only, the guru. We call him the guru. In fact, in most of my speeches, I have a slide with him and Les Brown and General Colin Powell as three of the people who have had the greatest influence, impact on my life. And I give lessons that I learned from them. I talk about Brian Tracy being the greatest gold teacher in the world, probably in history, and has written more books to help create wealth globally. And so I'm honored that we've been friends, and I'm honored that he could find time today to be part of this show. Welcome again, Brian. You're about to tell them the 7 principles that changed your life and helped you to go from broke and busted and just making it, and in fact, living in your car, to becoming a wealthy man. Let's go to it. Go ahead and do your thing, Brian Tracy.
Well, thank you. One of the principles I learned very early is that if you want to be successful, do what successful people do and keep doing it over and over again until you basically make it a habit of life. So I began to study successful people. I've done an enormous amount of work, books full of work on the success habits of wealthy people. These people have been researched and interviewed and studied, and there's several things that they do that you can do. They're so simple, it's embarrassing. Number one is they get up early. They get up before 6 a.m. And when I learned that some years ago, I found that if you could set your mind for 5:55, and you'll just wake up out of a sound sleep and get up immediately and start moving. Get up early and get going. The average person gets up at the last possible minute. They drink coffee, they watch television, they read the newspaper, they go to work at the last possible minute, and that becomes their default setting. Is they work up, of course, according to the research, 50% of the time. The rest of the time they're at work, but they're not getting results. They're talking to their friends, they're playing on their computer, they're reading their paper and so on. It's so astonishing. So therefore, if you just get up at 6 a.m. and do the other things I'm going to tell you, and then work all the time you work. When you
Work
start
when you work. Right. Go got it.
it down and hit it, if you'll just do that, you'll immediately move into the top 10% or even 5% of people out there. Now, here's a very simple conclusion. What happens to your skill level if you use it more often? If you make more calls, if you make more sales, if you speak to more customers, what happens to your skill level? And the answer is you get better and better, which means you get more and more results in less and less time. It's so simple. People go, whoa, yes. Well, anyway, so start or get up at 6 o'clock. Many wealthy people get up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, but get up at 6, and then immediately you could do one of two things. I believe you should start with exercise. Start
Yes.
moving your body, get the blood moving. I have a pool at home, so I used to get up and walk downstairs and throw myself in the pool. After which there was no going back to bed. But get yourself going, revved up to go for a run, a walk, a bike ride, something to get cranked up. Then
That's right.
but that's not one of the 7 points. Number one,
Okay.
get ready. Number two, after you've woken up, is read for 60 minutes each day. You could read
Wow.
more if you like, but take people like Warren Buffett reads 5 hours a day. Started with
Wow.
nothing, now worth $36 billion. Fifth richest man in the world is Bill Gates. Reads 2 books a week, 2 books a week, and summarizes the books and puts them on his website. And they swear that the reading has changed their lives. So
Wow.
if you get up in the morning and read for 1 hour in something that makes you better in some way, I used to read spiritual material. Spiritual
Yes.
spiritual material makes you better in every part of your life. But you can read
Yes.
time management, sales, goal setting, any subject that you feel you need to get good at. The wonderful thing is that the average person reads one nonfiction book per year. One. The wealthy people read one or two each week. If you read
Yes.
1 hour each morning, that will be one book a week, 50 books a year.
Yep.
If you just read an hour a day, you will be getting the equivalent of a top university degree. Only the difference is that at university, which I eventually went back to in my 30s, is most of what you learn, is not practical. However, because
Right.
you control what you're reading and learning, you only read things that are helpful. By the way,
Wow.
I used to teach speed reading. I studied it exhaustively. And what I found is that the best way to save time reading a book is to throw it away. Here's the point. If it's a good book, it'll grab you and you cannot resist reading it. You look forward to getting back to it. If it doesn't have that effect on you, you will not remember a word of what you read. So just stop reading it. So you can
Wow.
save yourself 6 hours per book by just simply reading the introduction and the first chapter. And if it
Right.
doesn't grab you, just keep going. So that's number one, as read 50 books a year and you'll be rich. It's just
Wow.
astonishing. Now, number two is write and rewrite your goals every morning. And what we do, we teach you the spiral notebook, is write down 10 goals every morning. When I put people through my coaching programs, I used to give them a double guarantee. I charge them $5,000 a year to come and work with me for one day every 3 months. And people,
Okay.
well, that's a lot of money. I mean, how can we pay that? I said, I'll tell you what, if you don't double your income and double your time off within 12 months, I'll give you your money back. There's no
Wow.
people said, okay, on that basis, I'll come to your coaching program. And then I would give them an exercise on the first morning of the first day. I would hand out spiral notebooks, like school notebooks. I said, I want you everybody to write down 10 goals in the present tense as though you have already achieved them. So
Now
instead of,
explain that. What does that mean? Yes.
well, because your subconscious mind can only accept a command presented in the present tense. It cannot deal with information that is in the future. So instead of saying, I will weigh this amount, I will earn this amount, say, I earn, I weigh, I achieve, I accomplish, I make in terms of sales. Say it as
Right.
though we're already true. And then what you set up in your brain is what is called a cognitive dissonance. Your brain knows that this is where you are truly today. Now you're saying you're here. Wait a minute, these two don't fit together. So they start to merge together and work to get you to the point where the new command becomes your reality. So
Wow.
when my book in Goals explains this in greater detail. Each person has a conscious mind, which is basically what you deal with on a regular basis, a subconscious mind where you store all your information, and they have a superconscious mind, what Freud called the super id.
Right.
Superconscious mind, as you know, is if when you put a command into your subconscious, it's handed over like a computer team hands it over to the superconscious, and the superconscious works on it 24 hours a day
Yes.
until it comes true. You don't have to know when, where, how. You just have to be clear about what you want. And the more it works, the faster it works. It's just literally life changing. I'll give you an example. When I was thinking about becoming a millionaire, I read an article in Fortune. It said to become wealthy, you need to have a net worth of $10 million.
Mm.
To be rich, you need to have $30 million. That's basically the cutoff point. So I
Hmm.
said, okay, well, I'll take the bottom one. And so I made $10 million net worth my goal. And I achieved it. And I didn't achieve it easily and I didn't achieve it fast. But I was quite astonished because when you set the goal, suddenly your financial situation starts to change. And
So
I said,
how would you say that to yourself? I earned $10 million
oh,
by,
I have a net worth of $10 million by, and I gave myself 10 years. It's,
okay.
and and not only did I achieve it, I had somebody come up to me who had taken this formula that we're talking about. And I remember at a seminar, he said, Brian, I came to your seminar 6 years ago, and you told me to do these things and that I would increase my income 10 times. And I said, yes. He said, it doesn't work. Your system doesn't work. And then he smiled. And I still remember, he said, it only took 6 years. He said,
Wow.
this year I'm earning 10 times what I was earning. I'm at the same job. He said, but I'm earning 10 times. And he was in sales and entrepreneurship. He said, I've never earned so much money in my whole life. He said, just
Wow.
following this step by step by step. So number two is to write down 10 goals. And then in the spiral notebook, go next morning, turn to a clean page without looking back and write down 10 more goals. And just keep writing 10 goals from memory. And what will happen is most remarkably, some will change the way you phrase it, some will drop off, new ones will jump on. And by about 30 days, you'll be writing the same goals over and over with very small differences in phraseology. It's the most amazing thing. So I would teach this. I say, here, and I hand them a workbook, here is your new best friend. This is going to make you rich. If you will promise me that you'll write down 10 goals every single morning in the present tense. And you know something? In 7 years and more than 1,000 entrepreneurs, I never had to give a refund.
Wow. This
They-
is incredible. Folks, this is why I want Brian Tracy, because it works. It works. He has created millionaires and millionaires and millionaires all over the globe by doing these simple things. We're going to take a quick break for station identification. We're going to come right back because we got more with Brian Tracy. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store, get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show and podcast around the globe, around the world. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you who listens. My special guest today is the one and only Brian Tracy. He's been on the Get Motivated tour. I am honored that I replaced Zig Ziglar when he died on the Get Motivated tour, and Brian is part of that tour for many years. I used to go to the arenas and sit in the front row and listen to Zig and Brian, Colin Powell, Les Brown. And then when Zig passed, I was honored that they called me. But Brian has taught me so much, and he's teaching right now out of 2 new books. Now, one is a book that he wrote years ago that he has rewritten, and it is awesome. Awesome. It's called Goals, How to Get Everything You Want Faster Than You Ever Thought Possible. And the other is called The 32 Unbreakable Laws of Money and Success. Transform your life and unlock your unlimited potential. You can do it today. Brian, where can people go and get these books? Where can they go and learn about what you've got to offer, please?
The good news is everything's on Amazon. So good. If you want to look at my books, just go to Amazon, and they go on and on and on. And that's the best place to get them. You know, whenever I hear of a good book, like your book, I don't even hesitate. I immediately go to Amazon and buy it.
Amen. Well, I'm encouraging everybody right now, go to Amazon, get all of Brian Tracy's books, but especially get this book on goals, the new version, and then get the 32 Unbreakable Laws of Money and Success. And let me tell you, folks, this 32 Unbreakable Laws of Money and Success, I didn't just read it. I studied it. I researched, and I went through it I went through my doctoral program. I researched and said, this is so good. I'm taking notes and writing down ideas. I'm encouraging everybody to get this, the 32 Unbreakable Laws of Money and Success at Amazon, and then go to briantracy.com just to learn more about the free resources he gives you there, as well as about where he is, what he does, when he's going to be in your area. He's still traveling. I mean, Brian, how old are you now, Brian?
I just had my 80th birthday. Thank you.
80th and looking good, doing good, traveling all over the world, doing his thing. Okay, let's keep going back to these points, these 7 points. So you got to get up early, and then you got to get some exercise, and then you got to read, and then what do? And then you set your goals. Every day, take that spiral notebook, today's date, and write down 10 goals. What's next?
Well, the next is for you to plan every day in advance. By making a list of everything that you have to do that day, write it in sort of the present tense. But as you think of new things, write them down. This is a technique that is life-changing. The best time is to write it the night before. Make a list of everything you have to do tomorrow. And as you think of new things, add them to the list. Then organize your list by priority. What is the most important thing? And then when you start in the morning, before anything else, start on your number one task and discipline yourself to work on it nonstop until it's complete. Now, here's another thing. Self-discipline, which is the ability to force yourself to do what you know you should do, is the most important quality for success. And I've been thinking about this subject recently, and I realized that self-discipline comes down to something very simple. It's saying yes or saying no. And within that determines your whole life. So what you do is you say no to anything that is of low value or no value. And you say yes to those things that are of high value. And then you start them, and then you discipline yourself to complete them 100%. Here's an interesting thing that happens. When you complete a task 100%, it gives you a rush. All activities give you a chemical response. The chemical response is endorphins and dopamine.
Yes.
when you complete a task, you get a rush of well-being. You feel happy. It gives you energy, and it motivates you to do something else.
Right.
If if you just waste time or don't complete the task, if you take it 95%, which is what most people do, you get no buzz, you get no feedback, you get no motivation. So discipline yourself, force yourself to do it 100%. And then some years ago, brilliant psychologist wrote a book called Positive Addiction.
Mm,
Positive Addiction. And what he said was that you get this rush of chemicals every time you do anything, good or
right.
bad. But if you do good things, if you start and complete tasks, you get addicted to this happy feeling of productivity and performance. And soon you become addicted to task completion. All success in life comes from starting and completing tasks. It does not
Right.
come from working on tasks, it comes from completing tasks. And it's called the law of reputation.
Right.
The law of reputation is basically how people describe you after they have been involved with you, whether they hire you or they know you as a speaker or they know you as a business person. What do people say about you? And specifically, what words do they use to describe you? And even more specifically, what words do you want people to say about you? Now,
Right.
you and I are speakers, and our success lies in giving talks that people really enjoy, that are
Yes.
combination of entertaining but factual.
Yes.
We're just not comedians. What we are is we are edutainers, and the
Right.
edutainment is the key to yours and my success. So what do we
Correct.
want people to say? We want to say that was a very enlightening talk. That was really helpful. I learned really important things there. I'm going to read his material. I'm going to listen to his programs. I'm going to come back when he comes back to town. So think what reputation you want, and then make sure that you never do anything that does not enhance that reputation. That is the critical determinant of how much they pay you, how much they respect you, how much they like you, the house you live in, the car you drive, and I say, and the colleges that your kids go to.
That's
Rep-
right.
Reputation is everything. Anyway, so it's very important. The best reputation of all is that if you give him or her a job, they'll do it and they'll do it quickly and they'll do it well and they'll get it back to you. So the one thing that people like more than anything else is never having to worry about it. Once you've said you will do it, then they don't have to even think about it again. They don't have to wonder, is it going to be on time? Is it going to be done properly? And so on. Your reputation, someone once said that the greatest ability in business is dependability, that people can depend on you absolutely to fulfill your promises, to fulfill your commitments. Anyway, that's the second subject. So that's what you have to think about. What is my
Yes.
reputation? What do I want it to be? And is everything that I'm doing consistent with my reputation? When I wrote my first book, I called people who had programs with Nightingale Conant, and I called two of them, and I said, "Would you write me an endorsement for my book? Just a little testimonial, not a foreword, but just a one-liner saying this is a good book."
Yes.
And these are two very famous people, and both of them turned me down. They said,
Wow.
they said, "Who are you?" No, no, writing an endorsement, as you know, is very simple. When somebody asks me for an endorsement, I say absolutely, and I write the endorsement and the reply and send it back instantly. They
Yes.
say, I'll send you material and I'll write it for you. No, you ask me for an endorsement. I have a rule with people, regard to people like you, Willie, and the
Yes.
rule before you ask, the answer is yes.
That's right. Thank you.
You never have to wonder, oh, will Brian do this? Will Brian commit his time? The answer is yes, because you're my friend. And
Absolutely.
and that's really important to me. So I made that rule after I was turned down by these two authors. So here we are. First thing, get up early.
Get up early.
Second is read 60 minutes or more per day. Uh,
Yep.
Number three is plan every day in advance by making a list. And there's a list if you have 10 or 20 things to do. The law of three, which is in the book on laws, the law of three says that there's only three things that account for 90% of your value. Three things.
Mm,
You may have 20 things that you can do, There's only three. And of those three, there's one that's probably worth 80%
Right.
at any given time. So what you do is identify number one, number two, number three. Start with number one and discipline yourself to work at it nonstop until it's complete.
Got it.
This alone will make you happy, healthy, thin, and rich. So the next is set priorities and begin working immediately on your most important task. Now the next task is listen to audio programs in your car.
Yes.
As you and I know, our lives were changed by audio.
Rolling University. It's absolutely right. My car has been my best friend. I've learned languages. I've listened to audios. I've listened to Brian Tracy. I've listened to Zig Ziglar. I've listened to Les Brown. I have been changed and transformed by the audios in the car. And if your car doesn't have a CD player anymore, put it on your phone. Get it on your phone. Put it in a place where you can get it. There are ways to get content now in more ways than ever.
Yes, you could become one of the best educated people in the world just by downloading stuff from Audible onto your iPhone and then listening to it as you move around. The rule of this is never allow your car to be moving without educational material playing.
Wow.
Now, here's another thing. With regard to learning, the learning is always done in the pauses. Now, this is really important. I've taught super learning over the years. I've written books on it. But what it says is that it's like in music, all the music is in the pauses. Perfect example, Beethoven's Fifth. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. It's the pauses that make the music incredible. It's the drum, everything else is the same everywhere, but it's the pauses. So when you're reading, the way you learn is when you hear something of value, stop the sound and turn it over in your mind, like a roast it on a spit. Turn it over in your mind. Think, how could I use that? How could I apply that? What examples can I think of? And then carry on. You can read fiction, speed reading. You can do it faster and so on. But if it's of any value, you need to think about it.
You need to take a moment and let it meditate, let it marinate, let it sink in, and then really start to get context in your own brain how you would regurgitate or restate that by the way that it has come through you. Oh, yeah. As I read the book, Brian's new book, again, the name of the book is the 32. Hold on, I got to get it right here. Come on, here, the 32 Unbreakable Laws of Money and Success. As I read the book, I said, oh my goodness, that's so true. Oh, and now some of this I had read before in other books by Brian, but when I read it the second time and thought of it, I said, that's so good. We're going to take another quick break for station identification. Oh, no, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
If you're serious, you'll make a way. Hannibal said, if you cannot find a way, then make a way. See, it doesn't matter what happens around you or what happens to you. It only matters what happens in you. When people stomp on your dreams, don't get mad, don't get even, get ahead. Because massive success is the best revenge. So when people laugh at you and they try to put you down, take that negative and turn it all around. Grab hold of your dream, let it set your soul on fire. Activate your faith and take it higher, higher, yeah. Gonna take you to the top, said I'm never gonna stop if you got faith. God's got the power to bless you. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went, and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friend said, wow, that changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley with my special guest, the guru of goal setting, the guru of wealth creating and goal achieving. As I say, goal setting and goal getting is the one and only Brian Tracy. He's Hall of Fame speaker, named one of the best on the planet, multiple bestsellers, New York Times bestsellers. This guy is one of the greatest, and I'm honored to have him as a friend and honored that he would be able to be on with us today. Brian, you're talking about the new books. You got 2 new books. So one is a redo, a revised version, Goals, How to Get Everything You Want Faster Than You Ever Thought Possible. And the other is one I have fallen in love with called The 32 Unbreakable Laws of Money and Success. Transform your life and unlock your unlimited potential. I already told my wife, I said, this book is something that everybody in our family needs. This is the gift we will give away for Christmas. This is what we will bless people with, because we could give them some kind of little trinket or something, but this is what will change their thinking. He talks about this book in so many things. Well, of course, he talks about goal setting, but more importantly, he talks about investing. He talks about compound interest. He talks about how to invest. He talks about how to prepare yourself with the 3 tools that you have to have: savings, investment, and insurance. He talks about the stock market. He talks about the law of 3, which he just mentioned, the law of investing in compound interest, the law of accumulation, the law of magnetism, accelerated acceleration, the law of the stock market, marketing, real estate. He talked a little bit about reputation. This is an incredible book. I want to encourage everybody to go to Amazon and get the brand new book and get all of Brian Tracy's books. Okay, Brian, in the 10 minutes we got left, tell us more about what people should do to create wealth if they're struggling, if they're trying to figure it out, if they've been not living up to their potential, and there's so much. So we know you got to get up early. You know you got to take time to read and develop yourself. We know you got to do some exercise to get your endorphins going in there and your body woke up. Then you know you got to take time to set those goals every day. And then you got to start saying, what will it take to get there? One of the things you talk about often, I know it's true, it's difficult, but it's worth it, is when you set a goal and you say, here's what I want to do, what are 20 things you could come to, 20 that you have to write down to say, I'm going to do these 20 things, not 10. You don't write down 10. Tell us about that, please, and how difficult it is, but how worth it is.
Well, it's a sub-principle, but basically you say, this is my goal, and everyone should have a goal to become a millionaire or more in the course of their working lifetime. If you don't set that as a goal, then you're just going to go around in circles, almost like a car with lost its steering wheel in a huge parking lot. You'll just drift. Now, one of the greatest discoveries, going back to Aristotle, is that law of sowing and reaping is you become what you think about most of the time.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is, it's like a garden. You can only plant the seeds. Nature, God, powers grow the seeds. Your job is to plant the seeds. So the more you read about what successful people have done, what they learned, how they started from nothing, changed their lives, you've got to have clear goals and plans. You have to have organized days and priorities, and you have to work hard. There's no
absolutely got to work hard, and work ethic is so critical, folks. I want y'all to hear what he just said. You got to think, you got to dream big, then you got to get a plan to achieve it, and then you got to work. It cannot be mystical, throwing some magic seeds in the ground and say, I hope it comes up. You got to go to work. It takes work and hard work, but it's worth it because you control your destiny, and that's what we want people to do. Control your destiny.
Now, here are two questions as part of this formula that you ask after every experience. Question number one is, what did I do right? Question number two is, what would I do differently next time?
Right.
The answers to both of these questions are positive answers. They're constructive answers. They're answers that make you a better person. Is God helps you to become successful by giving you failure experiences. One of my favorite examples is Jeff Bezos, who formed Amazon. For 10 years, he lost money with Amazon. Well, what Jeff Bezos does is he tells everybody, he said, we don't make mistakes. We don't have failures here. We have learning experiences. And everybody in the company looks upon every misstep as a learning experience. When Jeff Bezos has this idea that whenever there's a round table where the employees meet, there's always one empty chair, and the empty chair represents the customer. And so whenever we talk about our business, imagine the customer is sitting there, nodding and smiling and listening and agreeing and disagreeing. The most successful businesses are people who have an intense customer focus. They have an obsession with customer service. As you were talking about earlier, that's all I think about is caring for their customers.
So, Brian, I want to ask you a question. If you had to speak to some college students, young people, you want to be successful in business, here are 2 or 3 you got us. If you're going to be successful in business, here are some things you got to do. Give me a couple you got us.
Well, number one is goals. Second of all, learn how to manage your time. This setting priorities by saying, this is what I'm going to do first. And Warren Buffett was asked, what is your secret to success? 0 to $36 billion, one of the richest men in the world. He said, it's very simple. He said, I just say no to everything that is not my 2 or 3 most important tasks at any time. I just say no to everything. Well, you say no to useless tasks. You say
no to waste of time activities. No to just scrolling all day long on reality shows. No, I'm just not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. So you tell people you got to set goals. You got to learn to prioritize and say no. And what else would you tell these? You got us. You got to do something else.
The last one of my 7 steps, which you're probably a little bit lost, but it is treat every person you meet like $1 million customer. Treat them like they have the ability to spend $1 million on your product. And I say, and start in the morning with the members of your family. Tell them you love them, respect them. I have a wonderful marriage, as do you. I have never criticized my wife. I have never said anything negative to her about anything in 47 years, because that's the root of all the problems in relationships. Is people either say negative things or they don't say anything positive.
Right.
Dale Carnegie had this wonderful one-liner in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, make people feel important.
That's right.
Bottom line, just make people, everybody you deal with, make them feel important. Say the very best businesses treat their customers like they're really important people. And what happens is people become loyal, and one loyal customer will buy 10 times from you that a non-loyal customer will. So those are the keys. Number one, get up early. Number two, rewrite your major goals every single morning. Number three is plan every day in advance. Number four is set priorities and start work first thing on your most important task. Number five, listen to audio programs in your car. Number six is ask 2 questions after every activity. What did I do right? And what would I do differently? And then number 7 is treat everybody like $1 million customer. What happens is your productivity, you just start to get more and better results. But best of all, you enjoy it more. It makes you happy all the time. You become a positive person, and your income starts to inch up a little bit, 25% a year, 2.7 times in 3 years. And by 10 years, you're earning 10 times as much. And that's what happened to me, except it happens much faster. There's a law in my book called the law of accelerating acceleration. And that means that as you start to move faster toward your goal starts to move faster toward you. And things happen that you cannot imagine today, but you have to take the first step, like Confucius. Journey of 1,000 leagues begins with taking the first step. And so that's basically one formula. I have other formulas that we can talk about at another time on how to be more successful, how to get more done, and so on. But the most important thing is every day, breathe in, breathe out, and practice those 7 principles, but especially read, listen, rewrite your goals, treat people well, and you're going to have a wonderful life and feel great about it.
My goodness. Folks, you see why he is the greatest that has ever walked the planet in setting goals and helping people create wealth. The one and only Brian Tracy. Brian, thank you for taking time out to be with me today. I cannot say, if I had 1,000 tongues, I could not appreciate and say how much I appreciate your support.
Billy, it's such an honor to be with you, because you are one of the great ones in inspiring people to be far more than they ever dreamed possible. So please keep it up. Please keep incentivizing people. Keep telling people how good they are and how good that they can be. And if there's anything I can do for you, if you want to invite me back,
I will have you back whenever we can have you. And every time you get a book, you come back here so I can help you sell them, because I want people to hear what you got. My friend, ladies and gentlemen, the great Brian Tracy. And he says in the book, one of the stories is about our friend Nido Cobain. Now, he didn't call him by name, but I knew exactly who as soon as he started, I said, that's a story about Nido. By the end, when he said he's the president of a university, and I said, that's Nido. I'm honored to be an artist in residence at High Point now. So I'm grateful. Thank you, Brian Tracy. And I want to thank all of you who have been listening. You have made this show the #1 self-help show, and I'm grateful for you. And then I want to thank our sponsor, Truist Bank. Truist has made a commitment to help people buy homes with a low down payment, and they are committed. So if you would just go to truist.com/homebuyer, truist.com/homebuyer, and you can call them also on 855-257-4040 to get information. They will help you grow your wealth, your health, your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Go to winwithwillie.com. Come and make sure to watch us on our marriage show every Monday night at 9:00 on A Jolly Marriage on Facebook, A Jolly Marriage on Instagram, A Jolly Marriage on Twitter. Brian's been married 47 years. We've been married 39 years, going on 40 years. And we, as he said, are in great marriages because we do the principles and they work. And so go to jollymarriage.com, get some of the principles, and see the TED Talk. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show and podcast. And for sure, your best is still yet to come. Have a great day. God bless you.
And everybody's right sometimes.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire, williejolly.com/billionaire, or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.